From Stanford University in California, this is Democracy Now!
We also need the best protection of classified information. That is the worst situation. Hillary's private email scandal, which put our classified information in the reach of our enemies, disqualifies her from the presidency.
After campaigning for the presidency, vowing to protect the nation's secrets, President Trump is facing a major new scandal. The Washington Post reports he revealed highly classified intelligence to Russian diplomats at the White House. Even Senate Republicans are now warning Trump is in a downward spiral. We'll get the latest. Then, as the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals hears arguments over Trump's second Muslim travel ban, we'll go to Seattle to speak with Washington State Attorney General Bob Ferguson. He filed the very first lawsuit against Trump's travel ban, sparking a nationwide firestorm of legal resistance.
We are a nation of laws. And as we have said from day one, that those laws apply to everybody in our country, and that includes the President of the United States.
All that and more coming up. Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. The beginning of the end. That's what many are saying about the Trump presidency following the Washington Post's explosive expose revealing how President Trump disclosed highly classified intelligence during his sit-down meeting with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and Russian Ambassador Sergei Kislyak at the White House last week. Only one day after Trump fired FBI Director James Comey over his investigation into whether the Trump campaign colluded with Russia to influence the 2016 election. Citing unnamed U.S. officials, the Post reports Trump began bragging to the two Russian officials about his intelligence briefings, saying, quote, "I get great intel. I have people brief me on great intel every day." Trump went on to disclose highly classified information provided by a third party about the possible threat of ISIS launching an attack on an airplane using a computer bomb. This is the Washington Post's Greg Miller, one of the co-authors of the article.
At some point, Trump starts talking about the great intelligence he gets. He's telling his visitors, I get the best briefings, I get the best intelligence, and proceeds to talk about this threat that is underway that has been actually publicly talked about for some time. But he goes into details about the specifics of this plot and how it's coming together and what the Islamic State is doing to try to pull this off. And the problem is that the United States knows much of this information because of intelligence that came from a partner, another country.
Senior White House officials were apparently so alarmed by Trump's disclosures they called the CIA and National Security Agency afterward to warn them of what had happened. Officials told the Washington Post they were concerned Trump's disclosure would jeopardize a critical source of intelligence on the Islamic State. There's been some speculation that the country of Jordan was the source of the classified intelligence. President Trump is reportedly scheduled to speak by phone this morning with Jordan's King Abdullah. At an emergency news conference Monday, National Security Advisor General H.R. McMaster said the Washington Post story was false.
The story that came out tonight, as reported, is false. The President and the Foreign Minister reviewed a range of common threats to our two countries, including threats to civil aviation. At no time were intelligence sources or methods discussed. And the President did not disclose any military operations that were not already publicly known.
But earlier this morning, President Trump made his first comment on the story, in which he appears to contradict General McMaster and instead confirms he did disclose information to Russia. He wrote on Twitter, quote, "As president, I wanted to share with Russia at an openly scheduled White House meeting, which I have the absolute right to do, facts pertaining to terrorism and airline flight safety. Humanitarian reasons, plus I want Russia to greatly step up their fight against ISIS and terrorism." We'll have more on Trump's leaks to Russia after headlines.